Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Art of Living Well podcast. I'm super stoked to have you guys here today. This is going to be one of our mini podcasts, which, I enjoy doing these. They're like little breaks within the interviews. I hope you guys are enjoying the interviews as well. So on today's mini podcast, we are going to talk all about snacks. I am snacky. I've got cravings. Today's a snacky day. I can't quit eating. We're going to talk about snackies. And I'll say that our church group, our teen church group, or I guess it's college and career, they're called P180, and they talk about snackies all the time. So that's like a word that I've adapted to and started using because every Wednesday night when they have group meeting, they're like, and we're having snackies. And for some reason, when they have snackies, attendance is really high. So, you're not alone in wanting snacks. But let's talk through that. So with snacking, and this is something that I hear so much from clients when they're coming in, they'll say, hey, Liv, I am so snacky today, or I found myself so snacky during this week, during this time. Are my hormones off? Is my cortisol high? And my willpower is so low, and they'll have kind of these preconceived notions of why they are snacking. So part of my job is to educate my clients and help through these podcasts educate you as listeners as well, but to break free of the mindset of I have no willpower, that's why I'm snacky. I have restrictions problems, that's why I'm snacky. My cortisol is out of balance, my hormones are out of balance. Like all these kind of like go-to blanket reasons that we hear, that's our personal narratives that we've heard down through generations and generations, or even things we see on social media that are telling us, oh, well, this is why you're so snacky, and if you'll buy this, $29.99 program, this will alleviate your snacking. It won't. So let's talk through what could be causing the snacking and then where to drive from there. Because this is the thing, and this is why I enjoy coaching and doing these podcasts so much, is because, as a person who was 300 pounds, close to 300 pounds myself 15 years ago, I had to walk through these roads and these paths, and I had to understand these things and then go to school to be able to teach them to other folks. So there's just a lot of behavior things that go in with snacking, but there's also just a lot of real life application that if we pause and look back, we're like, oh, this makes the connection. And that's what empowers you to make the changes, is when you're able to make connections in your mindset and your actions. That's where you can start to say, oh, well, this plus this equals this. So how can I change the equation, right? All right, so let's jump into snackies. So if you are finding that you are very, very snacky all through the day or several days in a row, the very first place that I would start would be to ask yourself, have I had a real meal today? That's it. That is the gold standard of where to start. A real meal, let's just break this down, is a meal that's going to have, 25 to 35 grams of protein. That's going to start equating a real meal. It is food, it's more so, it can be a protein shake, if you've got one mixed up. There's some protein shakes that have got some pretty high protein shakes that have pretty high protein counts. But if you are finding that it is 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, or later in the night, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, ask yourself, how many real meals have I had today? Or have I just been relying on snack over snack over snack? Start to look at that. Now, you may not be able to correct it that day. I mean, it might be like 9 o'clock at night and you're not going to eat a meal at 9. But go back and say, okay, tomorrow, if I eat a breakfast with 25, 35 grams of protein, if I start that out, then let's do this for a couple of days, and then let's see how my snacking goes. That is the culprit more times than not, is that we just don't take the time to eat a real meal with real food. And real food, again, having some protein, having some veggies, some things that you're chewing on, some things that are actually going to fill you up and get you satisfied. That is the number one thing that I would do if you are feeling super, super snacky. The number two thing I would say to do is evaluate the size of that meal. If you're like, okay, yeah, Liv, I ate a meal and I am still starving, girl. Was the meal a lean cuisine? Because if the meal was a lean cuisine, and listen, I'm not against those. I will eat a lean cuisine. I've popped one in the microwave several times, but I will have something with that because a lean cuisine meal is like 200 calories. Teeny tiny. That's not much. And so when you first, step one, have I had a meal? And then step two, have I actually had a good caloric intake at a meal? Do those two things there and start with that. All right. The next thing that could be causing you to be snacky is that you're not eating foods that you enjoy. Again, so simple, not a hormone issue, but if you are trying to diet and if you are trying to lose weight on your own and you are just eating these foods that you think are the best foods, you're not allowing yourself any freedom and flexibility, you're going to get to a place to where you are craving those and snacking on those all the time or wanting those all the time and driving you into snacks. So that would be the other thing, is make sure that you're eating some foods that you enjoy. If you are trying to lose weight, if you are trying to lose fat, you need to know your calorie count. You need to know what your macro budget is that you're working with every single day. If you do not know this and you are just fully relying on, I'm going to eat good, that's going to put you into a place where it's going to be difficult to know how to work snacks in, how to work in things that you enjoy, and how to have things that keep you satisfied. As you see, the name of the game is staying satisfied to keep snackies away or all-day snackies away, all right? The last thing that I would say, and I'm going to couple these together, are sleep and stress. If you slept like garbage the night before for whatever reason, this means that you are sleep deprived. It could be, family issues. It could be job issues. It could be you got a baby. It could be 1,000 things that's keeping you up at night. When we sleep less, our bodies will crave carbs. That's the way we were designed. So before you start to say, I don't have any willpower, I don't have anything that's going on, if you wake up that morning and you're like, I've had really, really poor sleep, you need to go ahead and get your game face on. You need to figure out what your meals are for that day. You need to eat meals because that day is going to be a day that could totally end in a ton of snacks for you because your body is going to send you signals that say, hey, I want these carbs. I want this, these foods to satisfy being under slept. So look to that. The same thing with stress. If you are highly stressed, the body is going to say, hey, I want some comfort for this stress. And it again is going to send you signals that you are going to want to eat carbs. That's just what our bodies crave. So if you find that you are in a stress state, if you find that you are in situations that are really stressful, this is where you want to pause and you want to say, okay, what's best for me in this situation? How can I navigate this situation best and still stay close to my goals? So as we go through and recap, why am I so snacky? Let's first start with number one, are you eating meals? Have you had a real meal today? All right, checklist. Okay, I'm snacky today. Checklist number one, have I had a real meal? Okay, yes. Okay, then I'm good there. Okay, checklist number two, was it actually a meal or was it 200 calories and I was pretending that it was a meal? Okay, no. I had a real meal. I had more than just coffee. I had more than just a protein bar. I had a real meal. Okay, so it's not that. 3, sleep. Oh Lord, I was up late last night talking to a girlfriend. We had a fun time. I am tired today. It was a fun tired, but I'm tired. Ding, that's it, right? If it wasn't that, then go on. Am I stressed? What's going on today? Is it stress that's causing me to be snacky? Ding, okay, that's it. You can pretty much go through these 4 things, that checklist, and this is a standard basic checklist, and it's going to cover about 90% of why you are so snacky. So if you are finding yourself in this situation, here are 4 tools that you can use. Apply them, use them, repeat them. They're not going to go out of style. They're not fads. It's wash, rinse, repeat. And the more that you practice these 4 checklists of things, the better that you're going to get in identifying what's causing you to snack and getting to the root of it and doing some things that will set you in a place to where snacks are not something that you are craving all day long. All right, thank you guys so much for joining in on this mini episode of The Art of Living Well. If you have questions, you can always contact me directly at live.heal.nutrition on Instagram. Also on my on my website on my website, I have tons of recipes. We are loading recipes in there every day. They are free, tons of free resources in there. So you can go into the resource guide, you can print off the recipe cards, and there are snackies in there. They're going to be high in protein and get you to where you want to go. Thanks again so much for joining, and I will talk with you all soon. Have a fantastic rest of your day.